Hello there. This is your old pal Lex Gordon, bringing you a couple production notes before we start the full episode. The first one is, this entire episode was recorded in the field using lapel mics and the Shure Motive app. It works great, but if it sounds a little different than produced studio sound, that's why. Second of all, in the episode, Agent Sheila Stone and I visit a brewery and a restaurant. I don't want anyone to think that we were drinking and driving. We were not. We parked once, walked everywhere we went, and put hours between the next time that I drove. So always be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink underage. Don't do drugs. Don't walk across the street outside of a crosswalk. And don't use an aerosol can in any manner other than directed. And another bit of information I want to point out is that while, yes, this isn't a full-on ghost investigation, more of a haunted hotspot day trip, as we say, we were able to do some EVP sessions at Ashley's and at the cemetery, and boy, did we catch some cool ones. I would say the most impressive EVPs that we've caught ever on any investigation. And isn't that kind of the way when you're really not trying that something like that happens? And I guess I should clarify, an EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon, or electro voice phenomenon, people shorten it as sometimes. And what that is when you capture a voice on a recording device that you did not hear with your own ears when you were at the location. Now, this should be distinguished from what we call a disembodied voice. A disembodied voice is something you hear in real time with your own ears in a location. An EVP is something you don't hear at the very moment, but you hear it in response to a question later, or sometimes unprovoked, but on a recording that you made, something you didn't hear when you were on the scene, but you do hear when you go back and analyze the audio. And to me, it's really amazing. I don't know how it could possibly work. How could some electronic device made to record sound, which is pressure in the air, record rather something that you don't hear with your ears? I don't understand how that could possibly work. Now, a good friend of mine said it's just a different frequency. And so, there's some merit to that, and it's just a mystery. That's why they call it phenomenon. That's what an EVP is. So when we talk about EVPs in the rest of this episode here and there, that's what we're talking about. When we come to those locations in the episode, I will break out and point out those EVP captures, and you can be the judge whether you think they're legit or not. One of them is a standout. So be on the lookout for those in the episode, because it was extremely exciting. I wish I could have recorded our reactions when we were doing the analysis and heard them, but that wasn't happening. So anyway, we get to go through it again now, and you get to hear them here. And believe me, I think they're pretty cool. So look forward to that. And as I said, I'll break out and point them out when we get to them. All right. So here comes the episode. We did a proper intro, and I hope you enjoy it. We certainly had fun doing it, and I think you're going to like it too. Welcome to Renegade Files, your underground connection to paranormal adventures, unsolved mysteries, and covert culture. I'm your host, Lex Gordon, coming to you from the Jungleville Outpost, deep in the uncharted tropics. This is Renegade Files, episode 132, Haunted Hotspot Day Trip with Lex and Agent Sheila Stone. And that's right, guess who I have with me here? Agent Sheila Stone. Hello.
Hello, I'm back. Yes, it's been a while. Our last big adventure was back at the end of January when we went to the May Stringer house.
Was it really in January?
It was the end of January, beginning of February.
Well, that was fun. And so now here we are back again, the paranormal power couple.
It's good to be back and do a fun episode. A little different than normal.
Different than what we've done so far, but in the same wheelhouse, right?
Absolutely.
In the same ballpark. So basically, you heard the title of the episode, Haunted Hotspot Day Trip with Lex and Agent Sheila Stone, and that's exactly what this is. So I want to read to you this little quote that I found online, which I think sums up a lot. It's very interesting. So it says, being a real paranormal investigator isn't about running around screaming, pretending to see shadows in every doorway, or negatively provoking reactions. It's about finding measurable evidence of the invisible, seeing beauty in historical places, exploring and learning, connecting to energies from the past, and giving life to stories otherwise lost in time.
And that just sums it up. And
Yeah.
that's exactly our mantra.
Our mission for today, at
Absolutely.
least. Yeah. And, sometimes that does involve elaborate ghost hunts in one location with equipment, but this is not exactly what we're doing today. We're just visiting some haunted hotspots in our local area. And it just so happens that we had the time to do it. And these places sort of line up in a perfect little loop. So we decided to go check them out and make a show. So where are we going to go on this episode?
Well, first we're starting out at Ashley's restaurant of Rockledge that has a lot of history.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most, supposedly, once again, one of the most haunted places in this area.
Yeah, that's right. So that'll be fun. We'll go check that out, and you'll learn all the details when we're there. We're going to visit it. And
then the next one is Georgiana Cemetery, also called Crooked Mile Cemetery.
It's also one of the oldest, a 200-year-old cemetery.
Yes, that's right.
For this area is very old.
It's very old.
So there's a connection there. And then after that, we're going to go to, an area called Cocoa Village, which is around here. We're going to go over some of the history of that place. It's very old, a lot of storied, dramatic history right on the river. And then we're going to visit while we're there the stories and the location of the Cocoa Village Playhouse, 100-year-old theater that's supposedly haunted. And then we're going to go to what is now Milpa Tacos and Tortillas, which used to be called the Black Tulip, and before that was called Mertz Cafe, originally built as the county jail, and a lot of dark history there. And so we have some ghost stories, we have some fun places we're going to check out, and we're going to go maybe to a brewery if we can find a good one. There's a few in the area, and we're just going to play it by ear, and we're going to bring you along. So come along with us now. Lex Gordon, Agent Sheila Stone, on episode 132, Haunted Hotspot Day Trip with Lex and Agent Sheila Stone.
Woohoo!
Boom. Hello, check 1 2. Okay, cool. That's working. Yours is working. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe like a little closer to your mouth. Hello?
Hello? Check 1 2.
Yeah, that's perfect. Anyway, so here we are. I have to, it doesn't have to go in order.
Okay.
Right. It can go anywhere. I wish I would have thought a little more, but at least we're not on the highway right now. So anyway, here we are. Hi. Okay, so here we are. We're Lex and Agent Sheila Stone on the road on our haunted hotspot day trip. So this is so fun. Right now, we are at the first location we haven't gone in. It's Ashley's, and we're going to tell you all about it when we're in there, a haunted restaurant. And then we're going to go from here to Cocoa Village, where there's a couple of places, Playhouse, maybe one or two other spots. And then after that, a brewery while we're there that we wanted to go to, has nothing to do with ghosts. We don't think it's haunted, but we're going to go there for some craft beer. And they do have like an alien theme, so that's right up our alley. The Cocoa Playhouse we can't get into, but we're going to visit it, and we're going to let you know the stories of that. And then Georgiana, also called Crooked Mile Cemetery, where there's a pretty cool connection. And another couple spots in between. It just so happened, like I mentioned earlier, that we both ended up being off on a time we could go, and there's a bunch of things in a little perfect loop in our kind of general area, not too far out of the way. So anyway, the triumphant return of Lex and Agent Sheila Stone. Not a full-on ghost hunt today, though.
No, not a full-on ghost hunt, but it will still be interesting. And it's just kind of random. Who knows what we'll come up with.
Yeah. And we do have like some light ghost hunting equipment that we can get away with in the places we're going that aren't too obtrusive or obnoxious. And like that spirit box, we talked about it before. It's not my favorite because it makes such a racket, but people do seem to put a lot of stock in it. And I have been working with it at home a little more to kind of fine tune what I like. I can get it to where at least I can have it running and it not drive me insane. Where it seems to work a little better at one thing I realized is that the the speed of it is kind of inverse. So the higher the number, the slower it goes.
Oh, okay.
Right. And I think what it is because that number is milliseconds that it stops on a station. So the higher the number, the longer it stops. And then the lower the number, the faster it like scans.
It's just not my favorite either.
I know it's not my favorite, but there is a way to get it set up where it's not completely annoying. And the idea is that the spirits can interact with it with their energy to cause it to tune in a little more. And I guess that's as good a theory as any. I have seen it used to pretty impressive effect when I went to Casadega.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, Ashley's of Rockledge, originally a train station built in the 30s. It was first named Jack's Tavern, and is supposedly haunted by a girl named Ethel Allen.
So I hear.
And we'll go over the stories of what her situation was, maybe a little bit inside there or after. But we're just going to go check it out, and you get to come with us today. So not terribly structured, as you can tell. You know, we're rusty. That's all. So we're going to go. We're going to go inside right now and see if we can kind of do partially a little bit of our episode here without getting kicked out.
I don't think we'll get kicked out, but we just, it depends, I guess, who's there.
You know, I will say the pictures of this place online are beautiful, and it looks like what it is, an old Tudor-style wooden cypress building built in the 30s. But someone must have really been a photographic gymnast to get the pictures of this place that look like it's sort of on this glorious estate or something. Because it is literally right on the highway.
And on the railroad tracks.
The railroad tracks are like maybe 20 feet behind it, and the highway is maybe 20 feet in front of it. Enough room to drive a car down the front of it and a parking lot on one end or both ends.
But their sign is funny because it says Home of Good Spirits.
Good Spirits, get it? Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't know she was actually a good spirit. I don't.
No, she is. I think she is.
She's fine? Okay.
I think so. Well, I don't think she's mad. Well, I don't think she's happy about the situation, but she's not vicious or evil, I don't think.
Yeah.
She loved it here, and we'll tell you her story when we get inside.
Okay.
All right. 10-4.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Yep, that's not part of this.
No, but it is someone named Ethel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, this was the last place she was seen before her body was found by the river.
That's
but
right.
I mean, how far away is the river?
Pretty far, but she loved it here.
The river's right over there.
But she liked it here. That's why she comes here.
All the time.
Yeah.
This was the last one. She's regular here.
Right. All right. So as I mentioned in the production notes before the intro at the beginning of the episode, this is one of those situations where we recorded an EVP, arguably. So this was the first one that we captured on the first day. And this is Agent Sheila Stone. And she went into the bathroom at Ashley's, which is said to be one of the paranormal hotspots. And while she was in there, she asked a few questions with the recorder going. And one of the things that she said was she tried to reach out to Ethel Allen, the spirit that's said to haunt Ashley's. And she asked a question, something along the lines of, is there anything that you want to say to us? And after that, you hear this very strange sort of guttural kind of voice say, no. And I'll let you listen to it. You can see what it might be. We're not saying 100% that it's the spirit of Ashley saying that. It could be a pipe making a noise. It could be something in the restaurant, but that's not what it sounds like. So we're going to leave this open to interpretation like all things, but here it goes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, and then we're going to play it again.
Okay, so here I am in the restroom, the ladies' room at Ashley's restaurant. Supposedly a very haunted area here. Ethel, do you have anything you'd like to say to anyone today?
Again.
Ethel, do you have anything you'd like to say to anyone today?
Okay, so that was it. What do you think? I mean, it sounds pretty weird. It definitely sounds creepy. I don't know. It's very unusual. It wasn't anything that Sheila heard when she was in there. It wasn't like an auditory sort of sound. It was just showed up on the recorder later, which is weird. All right, back to the episode.
Nothing from Ethel.
Oh, okay. And halfway through it, I turned my microphone off, which was the smarter thing. I wish I would have done that in the beginning. But I think I could see that you were bouncing. It was coming through.
Well,
I wish I would have thought to turn mine off the second you went in there.
It's okay.
But I did.
Okay.
Eventually.
It sounded pretty stupid. I felt like on that Ghost Hunter show.
I know, right? Did you see that? Did you hear that?
No, it's more like, I'm like,
Yes, it depends.
I'm like, Ethel, are you here today? Are you here?
And then like the toilet flushes.
I know, and the water runs. But you know what? You can.
Say hi so I can see it's on there.
Hello.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, this is super cool up here. You get to see like that down into there. It's really neat. All these plants, definitely old vibes.
Yeah, macrame. Oh my God.
Macrame, yeah.
Do that back in the day.
I know. Literally, like the spider plant in the red macrame is 70s.
With the bead. You have to have the bead in there.
Yeah, my aunt used to make those.
Do a lot of
So I
things
think
like
up
that.
here is cool because we're sort of, not that we can't hear it, we're away from the crowd.
Absolutely.
Because as we were down there, more and more people came.
It's getting busy. It's Saturday night.
First of all, the food was awesome.
Food was awesome.
The girl, her name was Amber. She was super cool.
She had some stories.
She definitely did. So here's what we know about Ashley's of Rockledge, which we are in at the moment, the first stop here.
Yes.
Built in the 20s, and in the 1930s, it was called Jack's Tavern. During Prohibition, gangsters and bootleggers came here, and it was operated under other names like the Mad Duchess.
That sounds like a ship.
It does.
Right.
Also, Sparrow Hawk.
Ooh.
That sounds like a pirate.
Yes.
And then my favorite, the Loose Caboose.
Ah.
That's classic.
That's very classic.
I'm not sure what that means. Well, they are next to the train track.
Oh, yes, that would make
So,
sense.
and it used to be a train station
Okay.
originally. So the main spirit here is Ethel Allen, a beloved regular at just 19 years old in the 1930s. She was last seen alive here at this bar, and then she went missing. It was a huge search for her. Well, I guess as big of a search that would have been back in those days. And she was found, she was murdered, and she was found on the shore of the Indian River.
Which apparently is right across the street.
Right across the street from here, yeah. They never solved exactly what happened to her. It was speculated that it could have been a mafia hit because she like knew too much kind of thing.
Ah.
You know, it was during Prohibition and gangsters and people kind of coming and going. So there's that. And then, but the other story was that she was maybe killed by a local corrupt city official to cover up the fact that he was having an affair with her.
Well, and you know, you kind of
Scandalous.
wonder, 19-year-old girl
By herself in a bar.
like a regular in a bar. What's happening here? In the 30s?
Right.
Well, I don't know. It's not like today where, a single woman can be in a bar and it's not a problem.
It's a normal thing,
It
but
is.
in the 30s, it totally was not.
Right.
And did you say she had a tattoo?
That was the thing too. How many women in that day and age had a tattoo? And was it where? On her thigh or something? That's how
Right.
they identified her, with a rose with a noose?
That's very unusual.
Right? Was that, am I correct?
I don't have
with
that on here. That must have been on the menu.
Well, I remember seeing that was a...
I mean, you got to remember, think about it. It's 1930. You're a 19-year-old girl.
And you have a
a tattoo of a rose in a noose on your thigh. Probably not like the sweet church girl.
I wouldn't think.
Like the wild child of the town.
Well,
it said she was very popular at the bar.
Well, I'm sure. I hate to say that, but
So
it is
now-
what it is. But anyhow,
we start to read into like very popular is italics. Maybe.
well,
I don't know.
Right?
So anyway, but she didn't deserve all that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Unless, once again, you have all these questions. Was she
Right.
involved in the mafia? Was it with a city official? Somebody wanted to do her in, and they did, and it was
Right,
never
right,
solved.
right.
It was never solved.
Never solved. I think a lot of, when I read the story about the speculation that maybe her killer was a corrupt local city official who tried to cover it up because he was having an affair with her, that sounds like maybe we're on the right track there. Especially
Possibly.
back in the day, right?
Well,
Especially.
possibly. I don't think it was. I personally would not think it would be a random act.
No.
Why
no,
would
no.
somebody just pick her out and and it was not it was not just a killing. It was a violent crime. It was violent.
She was 19 years old. She's probably not a real threat to any of those gangsters in the 30s. They could take care of themselves, you know. Dead is Dillinger now. Rest in peace. So some of the things that they experience, like cold spots, shadow figures that they see, full body apparition, which is like the Holy Grail, you know.
Well.
They maybe saw her feet under the stall in the bathroom.
Right. Well, I did go in the ladies' room.
Was it scary?
No, it was not.
The men's room is scary.
Okay. Well, maybe, you know, you wonder if the men's room at one point was the lady. You don't know how this all went. Back, and this is a very old building.
The men's room is way at the end down there.
Okay.
And it's down a hall, and there's like an ice machine. Like I could barely fit through, and you feel like you're about to go into the kitchen, or you're in the wrong place in the building. And then you see the door of men's room. So I go in there, and it has those. I know maybe girls don't know, but there is such a thing, and I remember it from elementary school. Those urinals that are like 5 feet tall. It's basically like built. The new ones are sort of like. Oh, I know this is too much information.
This is way too much information.
The new,
no one cares.
the modern urinal is sort of is like attached to the wall, freestanding, just a little thing that you can do your business in. The old school ones, the drain is in the floor.
Okay.
And the porcelain part is as tall, almost up to your shoulders, and like you can't miss because anywhere you fire toward that direction, that's how that works.
Good to know.
I know, but you don't see those anymore. But those are what are in there.
Well,
which led me to believe. So the other part of it is, the only reason I mention it is there's 2 of those, and then there's a tiny little wall with the actual, I guess what you would call commode behind there in case you have to go number 2, and it's so small that I was positive that no one's in there. That little wall is just big enough to cover the toilet. A person couldn't fit in there unless they were standing on the toilet. But I had the feeling like someone was in there.
Wow. Okay.
And I even looked around the corner to make sure they weren't, even though I knew it wasn't big enough for a person to be in there. and I kind of thought maybe, because I was hearing some weird noises, and I thought maybe I was hearing noises from the kitchen, because it's all of like, connected back there. So
that could be.
I'm not saying I heard a ghost in there, but it was just kind of a creepy bathroom.
Well, my bathroom was fine.
Normal.
I reached out to see if there were, but there was nothing. But that's okay.
But because you didn't hear it, that doesn't mean it might not be an EVP we caught. I did the same thing. We'll look at it later.
Right.
The other things that they've noticed are rearranging of glasses or bottles and silverware. There is at least one customer who said that their napkin was pulled off of their lap, and they attributed that to the ghost. But, maybe she just dropped her napkins.
Well, this is true, but I don't know. The honestly, though, the information from our bartender, Amber here, was very, very creepy. She's had very creepy experiences. She's been here a while. She would know. She's been here for 9 years, and at least one time she saw a light flicker, and she's telling us that light is on the same switch as like 3 or 4 other lights, and none of the other ones flickered, but one went on and off, and it really freaked her out when she was in here by herself. What other stories did she have? The other story was when she was in here closing by herself, and she heard, while she was in there, footsteps outside, and the jingling of keys. Oh, right. So, like as if the keys were jingling as you walked by. As you walk, like a caretaker. Like a caretaker, or the night guard or whatever, but no one was here. No one was here. No one's here. Cool. And then she also had another time where she just had a very anxious feeling from that, just that whole type of vibe. A creepy vibe she couldn't shake. Yeah, she did say that. Overall. Oh, and she said that she saw glasses rattle on that little overhead thing right there. Yes. Which, you know what? It's on chains. There's a lot of air in here. As a matter of fact, I can see like the plants moving right now. Yes, I'm not saying I'm debunking it 100%. I'm not debunking that, though. I mean, I think you kind of, when you work somewhere in a place for that long, you know what's normal and what's not. You know what's the air and what's the movement of within the building. I agree. So. Well, it's cool. You definitely get a feeling of like heightened energy in here. The whole place is wood. It's extremely old. It hasn't been remodeled, other than maybe a little tidy up here and there, but like look at how big this rail, and look, I mean, this is original stuff. Oh yeah. This is very old. And it also has these odd little situations, like that little railing right there that dips around. That's like a little
landing and a pathway, but it doesn't go anywhere.
No.
It's almost like, reminds me of like the Winchester house kind of a vibe, you know, where there's stairways that lead nowhere.
They go nowhere.
And this is like a little thing, but
big little alcoves.
It's like, what is that for? That's kind of like
little shelving and such. You're right.
Why wouldn't you just put this straight across to the wall?
Right. Well, because I think though, because the whole thing is sloped like that, but you have the stained glass windows.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's honestly, it's not what I expected. It's better than what I expected.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's like very, it's a very cool vibe.
It's really neat that you can walk up here and like look down upon the bar.
But it kind of gives me a little bit of a...
It's a feeling of freedom that they let you do it, because if they built a modern restaurant like this, they would never do it like this.
Oh, no. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. And this is kind of more of a hearkening back to the old days when people were trusted. And we allowed people to be themselves.
They have a couple cool little artifacts here and there.
They do. Well, it's fun. I'm glad that we came, but I think we covered it pretty good.
I agree.
Yeah, it's cool. Good call to come to Ashley's, one of the most haunted places in Brevard County, they say.
Yes,
and a beautiful place, and good food and great service. This is turning into a Yelp review.
I know. How did that happen?
I don't know, but it was really fun. All right. So, I mean, what's our plan? Should we go to Cocoa Village and do that?
I don't know.
Because it's 5:30 now.
I know. We're running.
We have a ghost dog to take care of.
We do have a ghost dog to take care of, and he's going to be wanting his dinner.
So let's go
to the cemetery.
We'll go to the cemetery. Here's the deal. The cemetery is called Georgiana Cemetery. It's also called Crooked Mile Cemetery or Crooked Mile Road. It's in Merritt Island. It was established in the 1700s. It's over 200 years old. Ooh. And it's daytime now. It's technically closed at night, so we can't go there at night.
Why, it closes at dusk.
Okay, so we can make it. There's a few details we'll go over when we get there, but one of the coolest ones is that it's the resting place of Ethel Allen, who is the girl that haunts Ashley's, the restaurant we're in. And maybe we can find her gravestone, and we even brought a flower to put there. So I think that's maybe the plan. So maybe our ambitions were kind of quelled, partly because we had more good times at Ashley's than we planned on. And that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing.
All right, here, hold on. Okay, so we made it anyway. Georgiana Cemetery, also called Crooked Road Cemetery, where the sweet Ethel Allen was laid to rest after her sad, tragic demise.
Look at the hawk.
Where?
Straight ahead in that tree. Straight ahead.
There's a lot of trees.
Yeah, but straight ahead of us, right in front of us. He landed on that tree.
Oh, I see him.
Yes.
Wow, red-tailed hawk.
Beautiful.
He's big. And look at all the Spanish moss on the trees and stuff.
You said the cemetery is one of the oldest cemeteries?
Yeah, so I have it right here. One second, I'm going to move in the shade because it's only 100 degrees out here. Established in the 1700s, over 200 years old, this cemetery. Technically closed and no access at night. According to hauntedplaces.org, it's famous for some standout EVPs captured by other ghost hunters. I was unable to find any recordings. Space Coast Daily listed as one of Brevard's most haunted locations, and it's the resting place of Ethel Allen from the Ashley hauntings. And can we find her gravestone and her handmade headstone? So with that being said, I'm going to put this in my pocket. It's always way more fiddling and gear and stuff you're messing with than you think it's going to be, no matter what. When you go into the field, it's a challenge.
It totally is.
And either I have bugs on me or these shoes are tripping me out.
Well, you know, it is that time of year. There's a lot of bugs. It's hot.
I wonder if there's like an older part and a newer part. It's a little unusual that literally this is right the neighbor's backyard right here, with no fence or anything. There's a fence across the front, and it looks like they're going to build a fence here with these poles or concrete pillars, but I wonder if that's for the house down here, and I kind of think it is.
Yeah, that's very odd. But yes, it's just opened up. But I'm looking at like 1904.
Born in 1899.
Yeah, 1903.
Goodness.
These couple that we could actually read.
Yeah,
because
there's a
they are
lot.
so old.
They're old. There's a lot here.
1910.
Daytime visitors welcome. Okay, that's us. It's funny, these stuffed animals.
Yeah, I'm not understanding that. I don't, but people have their own way to honor their deceased.
I know, but I've seen them in more than one place.
I know. Oh, we just saw them back there. That's why I looked at that gravesite.
Yeah, because stuffed animals in a cemetery get really yucky really fast.
Well, and those are pretty yucky. Stuffed animals out in the elements.
Right.
No matter where they're at.
True.
But all of these gravestones are 1917, 1920. I've seen nothing it's not a current cemetery.
1916. No, you're right. Boy, they're building that house facing right over it.
That's kind of odd. I wouldn't, that sounds to me like a recipe for a horror movie.
I think that's what those pillars are. They're going to build a wall kind of thing.
Oh, probably.
Or some kind of fence.
Well, why would you face this way?
The neighbors are quiet.
Mostly,
yeah,
so you think.
Mostly you hope.
Once again, there's a recipe for a horror movie if I ever saw
Well, we were saying that when we were driving in. This is a really nice neighborhood. These are I would say pushing $1 million.
Oh, absolutely. And then you in the middle of things, you have a church and a cemetery, and one of the oldest cemeteries. So it's not something you can be like, yeah, let's get rid of that because we're going to put some houses in. I think that was a movie.
And it was called Poltergeist.
Ah.
A cemetery that's listed as one of the most haunted places in Brevard County, which is a very big county.
And here we have more.
You know what else is haunted, which is very interesting? So they say, I think it's I don't remember the number, but I'm guessing, I think it's Launchpad 34.
Yes, I was reading about that.
Yes, and it's in NASA, and you can take I see the bunny.
He's
can take a trip there. You can't just walk in there on your own, but on a guided tour, you can go there. And it's haunted by the astronauts who perished in a rocket explosion in the 60s.
Yes, I did read that. And
that's
I thought that
very unusual.
I thought so.
As far as haunted places go, that's right up there with the most unusual. Haunted launch pad because the astronauts blew up.
Yeah.
See, look, more stuffed animals over here.
That's why I'm heading this way.
Well, we're sort of searching for Ethel's location, although not systematically yet. We're just kind of walking down the center and looking.
But it's not that huge of a cemetery, so it's pretty, pretty walkable and pretty much we can, see what's what here.
We can actually pull it off, unlike the one in Brooksville that was enormous.
It was
that
huge.
Civil War cemetery.
That was
overwhelming, and if you recall, freezing cold.
Freezing cold.
Freezing to a Florida boy.
Freezing to anyone. I was freezing, and I'm an Ohio girl.
Ohio girl, still frozen. And if you're hanging out at your pool there, you have they have the Long Lake view. This is the Long Cemetery view.
Ooh.
You look down the whole entire thing, but it is beautiful in its way.
It is beautiful in its way. It's people have their own.
Sure. But that's what I was going to say. Here it seems like for some reason there is a popularity of stuffed animals on the graves. Maybe there's some kids here, but it reminds me of, I haven't ever seen that in another cemetery. But when we went to that cemetery in Winter Beach, wherever. Winter Beach, the old Pioneer Cemetery, that has a very specific and also very odd situation where there is an inordinate amount of toys and gizmos and gears and little parasols and what do they call those things that spin in the wind
pinwheels,
right, and then 100 other kinds of little kids toys and stuff, and tons of little glass beads, and it's just very unusual, especially for a cemetery. Because who's coming there to put a glass bead jar and a pinwheel on someone's grave who died in 1899?
Right.
You know what I mean? What kind of legacy of a family is that? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but it's just it seems like there's a lot of enthusiasm for the grave sites there in a very odd kind of bunch of toy way.
Right. It's a completely different situation.
Yeah, but isn't it weird that one here would be so different than another one here?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Very weird. And, you know, then you also start to wonder, because that cemetery is known for a lot of ghost sightings, a lot of hauntings, a lot of EVPs. So is it like kids putting that stuff there?
I don't really think that.
Or like teenager ghost hunters?
No, it felt to me that it was more like, well, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. This is a little bit of erosion going on here too.
A lot of erosion.
Like that's the borderline scary right there.
Well, that's why they have that other area roped off there, because it's, it's definitely some erosion happening here.
Oh, William Sumner. That was a World War II veteran. Rest in peace. So I don't know if there's a strategy to find Emily's or Ethel's thing, but I don't know how many times do we want to walk up through here.
Well, we're circling back on this side now.
Well, let's look on this side. That's our plan.
But isn't it so? Here I am, like I'm tripping over this little marker.
Yeah.
That's under the grass, which someone is buried there.
It seems.
Well, no, that's exactly what's happening there.
I know.
Those little brick markers, that's what that is.
That is what those are. Okay, so this is breakout for the EVP. This is in the cemetery. This happens at 12 minutes and 49 seconds into our recording, and I'm describing the headstones. And you hear me say that it's not a modern, smooth, polished one. We know that. And between then and when I say, this is a very calm, peaceful area, in that space, when I'm not speaking, you hear a very distant male voice, but it wasn't anyone that was there. And I can assure you that. And it wasn't anyone near me, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't Sheila. So I don't know what it was. It was an EVP. And you can be the judge of it, whether you think it's real or whether you can debunk it. That's fine with me. Have at it. But I don't know what it was. And I'm going to let you listen to it right now. Well, they said it's homemade, handmade. So not a fancy carved, polished one. We know that much. All right. Did you hear it? Amazing. I'm going to play it again. Okay, so that's it. I have no explanation. What do you think it was? Leave us a comment in the comment section if you can. All right, back to the episode. This is a very quiet, calm little section. Look at those spots over there.
Yeah.
All right, this is that EVP that I was talking about. This happened 1 minute and 35 seconds into the recording. And I go on this sort of very genuine exposition where I'm describing the fact that the location that Ethel Allen loved when she was alive is still there, and how impressive it is that everyone there still knows her and still talks about her. And I say something along the lines of, don't you think that's nice? And you clearly hear a voice of what sounds like a girl whispering say, uh-huh. And it's right on top of what I say. It's the second that I stop, you hear that whispery vocalization that says, uh-huh. So I'm going to play it for you a couple times. If Ethel Allen is here, we brought you a flower. And we're sorry for what happened to you. We hope that you're peaceful now. We just came from Ashley's, and everyone there remembers you. And you still have a seat at the bar there. They all love you. I wouldn't imagine that you would hang out here much if there's a place for you at Ashley's, which is so friendly and fun. Can you imagine that it's still there? The year is 2026. And your favorite pub is still there. And they still talk about you. Is it nice to know that? I think so. A couple times. Is it nice to know that? I think so. Is it nice to know that? I think so. Okay, did you hear it? I mean, if out of the 3 that we caught in this episode, I would put my money on that one. That sounds like a voice. All right, back to the episode.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going to alert me? You were just going to let me stumble upon it?
I tried to.
Oh, you did? I was like in my own little world?
Yeah. And look at all the things people have left for her.
Yes.
We're going to put our flower right there. Look, there's trees sprouting up in there. I put it in a little shot glass because I know she likes a bar.
Yep.
Very nice.
Wow, that was a little difficult to find.
It was difficult to find. 1934, can you imagine?
No.
And she would be happy that Ashley's is still there and they still talk about her.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Her favorite place.
Right.
Well, it's very pretty. It's very nice and it's a good spot. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. But you can tell that's not like an inscribed tombstone.
No, it's a little more homemade. And I'm sure that over the years, people have kind of kept it up. Well, this was interesting for sure. So that was good. We did a good job. I'm glad that we came here. I think we did the right thing. Okay, so here we are. This is day 2 of our haunted hotspot day trip.
Oh.
So 2-day trip.
Well, it ended up that way.
Because you know why? You got to be flexible sometimes. So today we came to historical Cocoa Village, which is a cool little area, and we came to a Dirty Ore, and they're very friendly, and I love it. It's right across from the Cocoa Village Playhouse, which is one of the haunted locations, so it all worked out in the end.
Oh, it's not really right across. It's close.
It's not?
No, it's not.
Well, it's kind of...
It's in the vicinity.
You could throw a...
I don't think you could throw anything there. I think
if you had a drone, you could fly it there.
You could fly a drone there. The problem is...
This is making no sense.
It's okay. The problem is
it's too far to walk?
I don't know. It's like 95 degrees. It's very hot today. It'd be different if we were in the cooler weather, possibly, or overcast. Sun is shining bright. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's probably 100 and some degrees in the sunshine.
I think literally 93 degrees in the car.
Okay. Well, we'll have to look where we are in relationship to. I believe it's a couple blocks.
So anyway, we have some delicious beers right here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Anyway, Dirty Ore, very welcoming, and right in historic Cocoa Village. So here's the details on Cocoa Village. Established around 1860, which for Florida, that's as old as it gets. I mean, well, maybe 1700s, but that's old for here. It was initially called Indian River City. The name cocoa was adopted in 1884, inspired by an actual box of cocoa, the chocolate powder, that the city founders were talking about for some reason in a local general store. Or we heard another story.
The other story was there was a woman who on the Indian River used to make cocoa for the sailors. And so when they would come by, they would holler, "Cocoa, cocoa." I don't know. That was the other.
And she would run out there and give them coke. Refreshment, it said.
It said refreshment. I thought it said cocoa.
Well, that sounds made up to me.
It sounds like a cocoa refreshment, maybe.
both of the origin stories of how they named this town sound
I don't know.
made up.
I thought Indian River City sounded pretty cool.
They should have just left it that.
There must have been a reason.
But you know what? Cocoa has grown on me. I like the name.
Well, it's fine.
It's cool now. Cocoa.
It's fine. Well, I mean, it's Cocoa Village, and then we have Cocoa Beach.
When I was a kid, my first dog was named Cocoa.
Oh, well, there you go.
A little poodle.
Was he brown?
Yes.
Like Cocoa?
Very much.
There it is. There it is. You could have named him Nestle Quick.
So the cocoa experienced significant growth with the arrival of the Jacksonville St. Augustine Indian River Railway in the early 1900s. That's a very long name. They could have just called it the Florida Railway.
Well,
all of a sudden we're critiquing names of civic institutions.
Well, I think it was because of where it went. That's
right.
It had that long name because of where it stopped or where it originated and all of the above.
That was in the 1890s. So in other words, the train came through town, and all of a sudden, boom town.
Yes.
So 1890s. But then fire destroyed parts of the city in 1890 as well. So right when they were hitting their stride, a fire broke out.
A fire destroyed most of the downtown businesses. I believe.
And it ties into some of our ghost stories, which we'll get to later. But it's interesting. You and I were talking about it earlier that it seems that the late 1800s were a very popular time for entire cities to burn down.
Well, a lot of
right?
fires. We
A lot of
talked about
fires.
why that could have been.
I talked about that in the World Fair episodes because
Okay.
a lot of the World's Fairs were destroyed by fires.
Yeah, well,
in the late 1800s.
It was a problem, and also
the Chicago fire. Everywhere you look.
Well,
you know?
there weren't sprinkler systems and
No.
Fire departments. Like it was a different time.
It was,
and there were a lot of fire hazards within.
Right.
businesses.
A lot of places were built out of wood.
Yes.
They had kerosene lanterns.
Right.
For
Makes
whatever
sense.
reason, they put hay on the floor. It was just basically like a fire trap.
It was totally.
So we'll get to some of those stories later. This is the city of Cocoa was officially incorporated in 1895. And that's not all of the history, but that's all the history that we're going to go into about the general area. The point is, for Florida, in the uncharted tropics, it is an old town.
Yes.
Right.
An old town.
And with that comes old buildings, and with old buildings comes ghosts or energy, whatever we're calling it.
Okay.
We don't know.
Energy is good.
Energy, sure. Ghost, for lack of a better word. When you say ghost, people know what you mean.
I guess. Yeah, I think when you say energy, that's a very broad term.
That's a very new age.
Yes, and people aren't up on like what is energy. Okay, I'm about a ghost. All right, I got that. I know what a ghost is.
There's not like a Netflix show that's like the new age energy hunters. There might be now.
Well, you never know, but we're not going to be them.
No. All right. So today, one of the places we're going to visit is the Cocoa Village Playhouse.
Oh, are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Well, we're not going to visit. We're going to visit it because in words. We can't go into.
Yeah, there's a couple things going on there, and I think I have some of it in the notes. But either way, when we get to it, we'll talk about it. But the deal with the Cocoa Village Playhouse is that there's a play going on today. So you can't go in there with a bunch of ghost hunting, Ghostbuster gear, and
but you can't go in there anyhow. You said. I mean,
you can go in there, but the deal is you can never go in there when they're not open. So when they don't have a play, and at any other time that you are allowed in there, you cannot take photographs or videos or record anything.
Okay.
So it makes ghost hunting impossible unless you really talk to the organization and if you were like Taps, you could get yourself in the door. Right. Okay, but the point is, it was built over 100 years ago in 1924, and it was originally called the Aladdin Theater, which is a super cool name. Once again, the cooler names were the older names, it seems.
Right.
They showed silent films and musicals and stage plays. So, a theater 100 years ago. One of the first theaters in Florida to show talkies, that they called them, which were movies with sound.
Imagine that.
That's going way back.
Yes.
And, this is something we talked about before. Built over an old artesian well, so it has running water under it, which some theories say can focus paranormal activity.
Interesting.
Running water.
Well, that would make sense.
Right?
Yes.
Because we kind of talked about it that like water is a conductor of electricity. Arguably, spirits are some form of energy. Electricity is energy. The whole thing kind of ties together, it seems.
Right.
It makes sense.
Yes. But because of, it being over 100 years old, it's an old structure. So, of course, there's going to be...
That's true.
A lot of... I feel a lot of energy, spirits...
Sure.
Possibly within.
Yeah. It's not as bad as being built over, like, an Indian burial ground or whatever, like Poltergeist, but it still could maybe capture and the place has been other places as well. What are some of the things that they've experienced there?
Footsteps across the empty stage.
Oh yeah.
Applause from the seats when the theater is closed and no one is there.
That's very weird.
Yeah, doors open and close.
Can you imagine you're working there, like sweeping up, and you hear like, yay?
Yeah, right. Woo. Well, I don't think it was the same kind of like, we're pretty rowdy anymore when we see a play. Before it was,
right.
People were
back in those days.
Proper.
There were maybe you just hear some clapping.
Yes, it was more proper. I mean, people conducted themselves in a
they're
completely different way.
Cheerio, good job.
I don't know, cheerio.
Whatever they say. I don't know what they said back then.
Anyhow, and also lights off and on. That seems to be a commonality of across the board with these places.
Actually, the girl Amber said that in the Ashley's restaurant.
Yes, so it just seems to be something that it's because of the energy.
It's a thing. Yeah.
I'm assuming.
I agree.
Pull chairs out for the ladies
Oh,
to
right.
sit.
That was one particular story where a patron who was there going to see a show went to sit down in the lounge, and her chair just pulled out for her, and then she stepped in front of it and it scooted back in, and no one was touching it.
That's very nice. I mean, that's how things should be or used to be.
Those are polite ghosts.
Right.
It's thought to be maybe the Joe, who was a former caretaker, and they say he was not overly fond of deodorant, so his spirit is accompanied by a particular body odor smell, and they smell that when there's weird activity. So like you're cleaning up there late at night, there's no one in there, all of a sudden you smell like
BO.
locker room BO, and the lights flicker. Those are the stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, it's
You're talking about like 100-year-old body odor. That's bad news. Anyway, there's also a young boy spirit. His name is Daniel. So apparently at some point in time, where that building sits, it was a stable.
It was a stable, right.
And I think that's where we get the artesian well. So maybe they put a well there to water the horses, kind of thing.
Well, this has been, I mean, obviously hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
We don't know. Places come and go.
They do.
Know what were there.
And also we run into it a lot of times. They didn't keep super heavy duty accurate records about every little thing that went on back then.
You didn't have to have a permit for everything you did.
That's right. You wanted to build a barn, you own the property, you build a barn.
You do what you want to do.
Yeah. So
anyhow, back to the story.
So there was a stable there, and this is kind of a sad story that when the property was a stable, this young boy Daniel, a stable hand, was wrongfully accused of stealing horses, and they actually hung him in the barn. Terrible. And then they found out later that it was someone else. They figured out who did it, but it was too late.
Wow.
Which is tragic. So they think that Daniel is one of the spirits that haunts the theater now, because it was built over the location where the barn was / artesian well, keeping paranormal energy in there.
Yes.
You can see how these things kind of like
all tie together.
Yeah, tie together. They accumulate.
Right.
Over time.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So it's like a lot of times a haunting like that, it isn't just like one thing.
No.
It's a series of events.
Yes.
That causes it. Like a motorcycle accident.
Okay.
Well, anyway, they do say that in motorcycle school.
Oh.
That it isn't one thing that causes a crash.
It's a series of events. But I mean, I think that's in all accidents, don't you think?
And maybe all hauntings.
Maybe. Yeah.
And that's a rant. So
there it is. All right.
It's off the subject. So anyway, we're going to go there, and then we're going to go to one other place, the Milpa Tacos y Tortillas, which used to be the Black Tulip, which used to be Mert's Cafe, one of the most haunted places here. And I think what we'll do is we'll just talk about what's going on there when we're there.
I agree.
Because we can get into that place, unlike the Village Playhouse.
Right. Well,
and we're going to go take some pictures and do some little snooping around outside.
And we're also going to have some tacos.
We're going to get some tacos too.
Absolutely.
Which that rules. Like I'm doing this whole ghost hunt for the tacos.
Just for the tacos.
And there's some creepy stories going on there.
Oh, right.
And then the point is, for now, that even though it's modern and new and bright and fixed up, the employees still experience things there now.
Right, because the original building, the original structure, it's been there for a lot of years.
Just like everything around here, 100 years or so.
Yeah, it's been for a long time.
So we'll go into the details of that when we're there, and that's sort of our intro to day 2. So thanks for coming along and sticking with us, and stay tuned. We have some creepy stories coming up for you on the day. What is this called?
Day 2.
Day 2 of the Ghost Hunt Day Trip. No, that's not it.
That's not what it's called.
Haunted Hotspot Day Trip.
Lex and Sheila out on the town.
The paranormal power couple.
Oh, that's what we are.
I like that.
I like that too.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
So we just went to Milpa Tacos y Tortillas, which used to be the Black Tulip, and used to before that was Mert's Cafe, and is supposedly haunted. So we actually, it was perfect timing. We went there to have some tacos and delicious drinks, and first of all, the place was really, really good.
The place was amazing.
Yeah.
Very delicious food and drinks.
Very delicious. Also, like I would say, a really high-end taco place.
Yes.
But not unaffordable, not outlandish, like, but super duper nice. Not a little taco alley restaurant. Very nice.
Yes.
But delicious. We had a salsa flight.
Imagine that.
That was awesome.
That's very good. Great restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
But very busy. So
it was busy. It was busy. So we didn't want to record inside there because it was loud, a lot going on, and a lot of people there, and it can be a little awkward. So we just had our little experience. We talked to the server, and we have all the stories right here. We just want to go over those now. So first of all, it was originally a jail. That always adds right up to some haunting right off the bat, right?
Absolutely.
It was it was built as a jail. The 1890 fire, which we talked about when we talked about the history of Cocoa, that fire burned the jail, and the inmates locked in their cells died. Because whoever was the caretaker of the jail, I'm not sure if it was a sheriff. It's just said the jailer.
Yeah.
But when the fire broke out and he fled, he was like, well, you can you can't just unlock the jail cell and let all the criminals go.
Right. But once again, it's a fire and everybody's going to die.
It's a horrible situation.
It was just not the best situation. But times were different then.
Times were different.
We're just trying to imagine how that all played out.
Right. And once again, this would have been in 1890.
Right.
So it's like the jail catches on fire. You guys are on your own.
Yeah. I mean, sad to say.
So it eventually became what was called Mertz Cafe. And that operated for some time. Again, we've talked about this before. They didn't keep the same kind of records. They didn't have geo-tracking on cell phones, and we knew where everyone was all the time. There was just sort of a lot of it was up for grabs. And if it didn't get written down and recorded in the county record, then it gets lost to memory. Right. So a situation like this place turned from the jail to Mertz Cafe, the reality is we're really not exactly sure when all that took place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But we do know that in 1981, it became the Black Tulip, and it was that restaurant for 41 years until 2022. And what happened was that and it's now the Milpa Taco place that we went to, which was amazing. So the owners of the Black Tulip back in 1981 acquired the building. It's right on the corner, a very sort of a great spot in this downtown area.
Right across basically from the Playhouse.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, kind of catty-cornered.
Yeah, but maybe just one or two buildings down.
Yes.
So across the street, essentially from the Cocoa Village Playhouse, very haunted location, they say. So what happened was when the owners bought it in 1981, they started to renovate it. And then that's when they started to see and hear and even smell some very weird things. And it's interesting, that a lot of times there will be a house, an old house typically, or a building like this, commercial building, and that everything's fine and it goes on for years and there's no problems. But when they start to renovate it, it like stirs up the spirits that are there, if you can be said to imagine, if you believe in that kind of thing. That either they like it the way it is and they don't like the change. I don't know. It's just kind of a guess, but I've heard that. I've heard other paranormal investigators say that kind of thing, that when you're renovating a place, that can be like a trigger.
Right. Well, that makes sense. You're moving things around, you're moving the earth, you're maybe moving walls, you're changing things or stirring things up.
Yeah, this would be a building that if they probably fix it up after the fire.
I'm sure they would have to.
It would have been a cafe before, but it's been there for 100 years.
Right.
At that point, 1980, 1890, 90, pushing 100 years. So 100-year-old building, and you start moving stuff around, and now all of a sudden, the furniture's moving around on its own or whatever. Right. So the stories are that the owners started to see things, hear things, smell things. They heard disembodied cries for help. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the people that burned in the jail.
Yeah. Well,
interesting. The smell of fire.
There it is.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
And the smell of burning hair, or they said, as terrible as it is, possibly the smell of burning flesh.
Well,
we're renovating your restaurant. You smell something that smells like that burning. It's like a shock,
Right. It would make me a little concerned.
Yeah. They think the haunting spirits are the prisoners who died in the 1890 fire when the building was a jail. And, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
So we went there today, and we did have a good time, and it's beautiful. We talked to one server who didn't have any real stories for us.
No.
But it kind of seemed like she would be very happy to not see a ghost. We could tell right away that wasn't her thing.
No, not at all. And once again, they were busy. It wasn't the same vibe we had yesterday when we were at Ashley's. That
Right.
Our server was very open to talk to us about the history of the bar and the restaurant and the experience that she has had there.
Yeah, that she's had, yeah.
But this is a relatively new restaurant as well.
Right,
whereas the yesterday at Ashley's, our server had been there for 9 years or more, and so she had been part of that history too, of as very much involved in that within that. But this, obviously newer restaurant, newer personnel, so it's a little different.
Absolutely. All we had to do is say ghost at Ashley's in front of the bartender, and she just launches into like stories and everything.
Yes.
The other thing is, which you make a good point, which is at Ashley's, that's the same restaurant. It's never been remodeled. I mean, well, it has, but not in a long time. You can tell it's old when you're in there.
Yes.
And they sort of cultivate that like we're haunted persona.
Well,
it's part of their jam.
Well, what did their sign say? Remember their sign on the building?
Oh, it says like home of good spirits.
Yes,
or
home
something
of good
like
spirits,
that. Right.
and it's kind of
they have like the ghost dog, and they have like the like, I don't know.
Well,
poltergeist burger. No, it's not that. I don't remember exactly.
No,
but no, they do. They kind of play on that whole thing. Maybe not that much.
Yeah, but why not?
No, I know. But I mean, in stark contrast to the milpa tacos y tortillas, which it's like they're really not about that. They're not. It doesn't seem like they're trying to make that part of their brand,
and that's fine. I mean, it's different.
You can understand.
It's different.
I mean, they're in a like uptown location. They're right on the corner, a beautiful spot. They don't really. I wouldn't say Ashley's needs it because they've been there forever, but you understand what I mean. They're not trying to leverage that identity, as it were.
No, and they might not even know that much about it.
They might not. You're right.
Like we said, it was busy that we didn't even get a chance to talk to like the bartender or anyone else that was working there to even make a conversation about like any experiences they may have had. It just wasn't.
It just didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
Well, and the other thing is, even you and I had to dig pretty deep to find what we did find about it.
This is true. Yes.
I mean, it's not on every haunted website. This place.
Is not.
It's kind of a obscure sort of story.
Right.
But interesting and delicious, and I would definitely go there again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I know we end up talking a lot about beer and food because it seems to be the places that we go.
The gourmet ghost.
Maybe we should start the ghostly gourmet, where you and I travel around to all the haunted restaurants.
That sounds good to me. It seems like we're already halfway there.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, haunted restaurants and breweries. Yeah,
haunted restaurants and breweries. Or how about just like breweries and restaurants where someone like read a story about a ghost one time. Yeah, I think we could work it in to a lot of those places.
That would be great.
That's so fun. But we had a good adventure there, and it sort of nicely wrapped up our haunted hotspot day trip.
Well, it ended up being a 2-day trip.
It did. But that's because we had so much fun and spent so much time at Ashley's. We talked about that. But we felt so welcome there. And it's like, you know what? Anytime you go to a place where the beer is cold and the food's good and the bartender's telling you ghost stories, it's like, we're not leaving right away.
Right.
They were so welcoming, and it was like, okay, we found our home.
And the other part of it was, then the cemetery took a little more time.
And we also decided to just put those two things in the same day because they were connected.
Yes.
And related in that way. And I think that was the right call.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had like an extra event today where everything was also, even though in a different part of town, all together.
Absolutely.
So it really worked out.
Yes, it totally did. Totally did.
Okay. So what do you think? That was fun. Doing that was fun.
Absolutely. Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I already have a couple places in mind for our next one.
I know. And I thought the same thing when I was looking around, just in general. Not only Brevard County, but it's amazing how much is going on around here.
Absolutely.
There's a lot.
Yeah. So they can be a day trip. It doesn't have to be a long weekend.
No. There's a lot of things in Orlando. So anyway, that was really fun. It was well worth doing. We learned a lot. I think we stuck to our goal of having a little haunted hotspot day trip. It was really fun to do. And this wasn't really our plan to do a big, heavy investigation. Anyway, this was more just about come along with us on the haunted pub crawl thing.
Yeah,
Borderline,
kind of, and some historical information about these places that I personally did not know.
No, and it makes it interesting, because now what you can do is we were able to feel out some of these places, and whereas maybe the Milpa Taco y Tortilla restaurant, although very nice, is maybe not super open to a bunch of Ghostbusters going through there with their gear. However, we did learn in the process that Ashley's totally is. Like, they would be completely cool with us coming back there sometime.
Oh yes, they actually made mention of that.
Invited us to.
Yes.
So, those are like almost like a little reconnaissance mission. We learn what we learned.
Yeah,
none of it's a waste. It's all worth doing.
Oh yeah.
But now we have like some things we may in our backyard do in the future.
Oh right, and it's right here.
Yeah, really
it's something
cool.
We can just go do.
Absolutely. Thank you sincerely for coming along on the Haunted Hotspot Day Trip with Lex
and Agent Sheila Stone.
Subscribe or follow the show now, so together we can meet here next time and explore the deepest covert stories of paranormal adventures, UFOs, aliens, hauntings, and all the weird stuff that's fun. I am so glad to have you in the Renegade Files crew. To find all things Renegade Files, visit one place, therenegadefiles.com. From there, you can dive even deeper into the world of Renegade Files by joining the Renegade Files agency on Patreon. Get everything I've made for you there. Check it out free for a full week. And thank you if you're an RFA agent already. You make this show work. Until our next adventure, I'm your host, Lex Gordon.
And I'm Sheila Stone.
Stay wild, shadow play child.
And keep it spooky.
But mainly, stay wild.
But also, keep it spooky.
Stay wild.
Keep it spooky.